We are going to continue now with the Bullinger Companion Bible. We hadn't really read any of the notes that much. We went to applications and also talked a lot about how it works. So now we're going to go to some notes. So I've turned the computer this way because this is extremely small print. So when I read this, I'm going to actually have to be using a very nice magnifying glass in order to read it. So we're going to go to, when we're reading this, we're going to the first book of Kings, and we are in chapter 22, and we're in verse 22. And this verse in 22 says, "And the Lord said to him, wherewith?" And he said, "I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets." And he said, "Wilt thou persuade him and prevail also? Go forth and do so." Now that's the verse itself. Now, here is what Bullinger in the Companion Bible does with that verse. Here's verse 22. It says, "Thou shalt," etc. Illustrated by 2 Thessalonians 2, 9 to 12. So the next thing to do is go to 2 Thessalonians 2, 9 to 12 and see what that's about. 2 Thessalonians 2, 9 to 12. And here is 2 Thessalonians 2, 9 to 12. And if we read that, it says here, now this is 2, 9 to 12. It says, 9 to 12 says, "Even him who comes in after the working of Satan with all power and signs of lying wonders, and with all deceivable and unrighteous in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, and they shall believe in lies, and they all might be damned who believe not in the truth, but had pleasure in the unrighteous." Now there's an example of where he is pointing to when he's talking about that particular section. Now, then he says, as he's still in that note, which we had just read, he says right there, "I have deceived" equals "I have permitted," referring to a sphere of God's grace. No, that's wrong. Let me read that over again. "I have perceived," I have permitted it. It is quite in harmony with Proverbs 12:22. Now, Proverbs 12:22, we will find what that says, Proverbs 12:22. So now we will go to Proverbs 12:22, and we'll see what that says. This is Proverbs 12:22. And it says there in Proverbs 12:22, here is Proverbs 12:22. We'll be back in one moment because we don't have time to finish this. We'll come right back.